Okay, we are back in TY.B.Sc Zoology, semester 1, paper 4, environmental biology. We were discussing about air pollution, 3.3 topics in your syllabus. So, we were in the middle of a discussion of acid rain. Earlier, we have seen this slide. So, we'll continue with that. Okay, as effect of acid depositions, declining aquatic animal populations. Naturally, if the forests are declining, if the vegetations are declining, then there will be a less number of animal inhabit there. So, animal habitat will destroy. Thin shelled eggs prevent bird reproductions because of calcium is unavailable in acidic soil. There is a thinning of bird's egg. Forest decline. Black forest in Germany, 50% is destroyed. All these vegetations in a forest are destroyed because of acid deposition on their leaves. They fall and there will be no emergence of a new leaves over the trees, and there is a death of forest. So here acid depositions and forest decline impact is shown in this photograph. Overall impact is shown in this photograph. So the acid depositions that damage to the leaves and barks of a trees, that reduce photosynthesis and growth activity, that increase susceptibility to environmental stress, drought, extreme cold, insects population increase, disease organism increase, heavy metals in that increases, and air pollution leads to the air pollutions. So finally, all these reasons leads to the death of the tree and that death of a forest, the threat to forest ecosystem health and stability. Okay, simultaneously, these acid when enter into the soil, it leads to the acidification of soil, the damage to the soil fungi that aid in a root uptake. So all soil microorganisms get killed because of acidic soil, and the soil looks soils but it is the dead soil. So that impair water and nutrient uptake. Also, these soil nutrients leaches toxic minerals released in that, and depletions of soil calcium, cell membrane damage, root get damaged, impair water and nutrient uptake, that leads to all these proliferations of impact of these pollutions. So all these effect in a soil on a forest happen because of air pollution. So the primary reason of all these impact is air pollution. In that air pollutions, the primary pollutant responsible formation of this impact is burning of fossil fuels through the automobiles, car industry, transportations, and industries. So air pollution around the world. What is the scenario of air pollution around the world? You can see in this photograph a lot of pollutions or this smog and smoke coming through this every house. So air quality is deteriorating rapidly in developing countries. In case of China, they have shown here the Xinjiang, China, residents only see sunlight a few weeks each year. So much of smog remain accumulated over the China. Developing countries have older cars still use leaded gasoline. So in our country, even in just in the last year, we started to think about the new Euro model with a new emission guidelines. Okay. So these developing countries which are under development, they use old cars and typical lead loaded petrol. Here now in India, we started using we reduces the lead concentrations in a petrol and we started using the alcohol instead of that. So alcohol mixed petrol we are using, but previously and still many poor countries they are using lead added petrol. Five worst cities in world affected by air pollution are Beijing in China, Mexico City in Mexico, Shanghai, China, Tehran, Iran, and Calcutta in India. So you just have to visit once in Calcutta to get the real scene of air pollutions. In a proper Calcutta city, all taxis are old model. They are very old and they don't follow any rules of this emission control and anything. So you'll find a terrific pollution due to the traffic in that area, and unfortunately we have very good monuments located in Calcutta. Long distance transport of air pollutants, more evaporation at low altitude, more deposition at high altitude, high volatility, low volatility, leapfrogging, depositions at high altitude. These are the all ways how this air pollutant travel across the globe with the wind current, with the temperature zones. All these pollutants remain suspended in air and they goes on traveling from one place to another, and the source of this air pollutant is at one place but its impact on another location here. So if in this region they are producing pollutions that goes travel to the lower latitude area, and there they cause impact on the this region. Okay, another aspect of air pollution is up till now we have seen the outdoor air pollution, but indoor air pollution also take place. Now in this layout of a house you see different sources of air pollutions. Hmm. So pollutants can be 5 to 100 times greater than outdoor pollutions, which we never notice. Most common is a radon, cigarette smoke, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, formaldehyde, pesticides, lead, cleaning solvents, ozone, and asbestos. These are the common uh, pollutants present in our indoor, that is in our houses. So if you carefully see this photograph, we can trace the pollutant here. So it's a tobacco smoke from the cigarette and pipes is released into this room. Then methylene chloride from paint, strippers and thinner. Okay, many times we bring some paints or some varnishes and something, and which we don't use fully. So that open lid releases this methylene chloride in that garage. So gasoline from the auto lawn mower. So some equipment we use with the petrol, or we store this petrol and kerosenes in our home that releases gasoline. Pesticides from the gardening product. Then radon from the uranium containing rock under the home. Okay, so this is also a kind of air pollution. So many times we have rocks in our basement which produce this release that uranium. From faulty furnace, auto left running, carbon monoxide goes on emitting. Fungi and bacteria from dirt, heating and air conditioner ducts. You get this fungus and bacteria as a air pollutant. Then asbestos from pipe insulations, vinyl tiles, we get all that asbestos released. Ammonia from the household cleaner. Many times we use that disinfectant and cleaner to clean kitchen and tiles. Okay. Nitrogen oxides from unvented gas stoves and wood stoves and kerosene heaters. They release nitrogen oxides, chloroform from chlorine treated water in hot showers, where many times we have these gas water heater fitted in our bathroom. That gas directly burns there and heat the water. So burning of that gas releases carbon dioxide in the bathroom, and many instances have happened before that if there is no proper ventilation to remove that CO2 from the bathroom, that concentration of CO2 increases and the persons bathing there get toxicated with CO2. He goes unconscious and again inhale more and more CO2 and finally lead to the coma and the death. So if you are using some gas operated water heater, see that there is a good ventilation and you have exhaust fitted there to uh, change the air inside. Okay, thereafter para dichlorobenzene from math balls, crystals, air fresheners. We have a habit to use these air fresheners in our bathroom that releases the para dichlorobenzene. Remember the benzene as one of a pollutant. Thereafter this tetrachloroethylene from the dry cleaning fluid. Yes, from the bathrooms and cloth, they release this dichloroethylene when we bring cloth from the dry cleaning at home. We hang it in a cupboards and you get the smell of this chloroethylene, which is a poisonous air pollutant. Okay, then formaldehyde from the furnitures and carpeting from synthetic polymers, particle boards, then foam insulations. This leads to the release of formaldehyde in a room. So only one thing you can get rid of a health hazard of indoor pollution is keep your home very much ventilated. That much we can do to reduce the health hazard and try to avoid all these sources of pollutant responsible for indoor air pollutions. Okay, indoor air pollutions that radon here, many rocks they are emitting the uranium rocks, releasing this radon radioactive material into the houses. Then ozone. Now this ozone topic we'll discuss separately in separate slides, so we'll skip it quickly. How are these pollutants spreads? Wind is one of a way of spreading the pollution. 5 meter per second speed of wind is sufficient to remove all the industrial smoke from that region, but it doesn't mean that it vanishes. It goes to somewhere else where wind speed is dropped down and there they accumulate, make a cloud there, and all impact of that pollutants happen on the region. So that could be the city. Here 10 meter per second wind can really goes very fast. That pollutant can very fastly reach to the cities. Here you can see the impact. So this is African countries and all the pollutions developed in American region through the winds, they directly reach to these countries. So no, these countries are not they are not a source of air pollutant, but the source is in America, but the impact is in Africa. Okay, mixing depth and height. This also leads to the spread of pollutant. The layer of air in between the surface of Earth and the height at which convection begins to occur is called as a mixing depth or mixing height. Deeper mixing depth allows pollutant to be dispersed within a large volume of air, leading to greater dilutions of pollutant. Here, shallow wear mixing depth trap pollutants in small volume of air, which does not allow bodies of pollutants to dispose as quickly. So if the topography of area is uneven, there is a trapping of this air pollutant. Quantity of pollutants being emitted, EPA standard timeline and equations and groups solved. Here, we must don't go in that deep with the graph measuring air quality techniques, monitoring network map, Google Earth use here health impact of air pollution. Okay, so here we'll see in subsequent slide. In previous first slide only we have seen how these lungs are get damaged with the air pollutions. That pollutant gets settled into the epithelial layer of these lungs, and they reduce your respiration capacity. First thing, then air pollutions and weather, acid rains and condensation nuclei, then climate perspective, historical effect on the air pollutions, then global dimming and future models. Are we affected by poor AQ? Now this is a concept where air quotient is introduced. That means how much pure air you have. That kind of measurement is called as a AQ. A very young are at risk because of poor AQ. Faster breathing rate is there in young children's, when more air volume with respect to body weight. So they inhale more oxygen, more air, and expel more air. So they are more targeted for the impact of air pollutions. The very old are at risk because they have very reduced lung capacity. They take very small amount of air, but that is very essential for them. And if that is polluted, then they are at risk. Undiagnosed lungs or heart diseases are nowadays reported. Pollutions can exacerbate these conditions. They increases the rate of such undiagnosed lung and heart diseases. Persons with chronic illnesses, respiratory, circulatory, or cardiac diseases, they are very much at risk. Yes, we everyone are at a risk. Even healthy persons can be affected when they exercise outdoor, or if the concentration of pollutants in very high in that regions, and you are exercising and you are inhaling and expelling more and more oxygen, more and more air with a lot of air pollutants, then you are at more risk rather than non-exercising individual. Now, how do we know if our air quality is poor or good? So that air quality index they have made. Air quality index is an overall scheme that transforms individuals' air pollutant SO2, CO, carbon monoxide, and particulate matter at a 10 level into a single number, which is a simple and lucid description of air quality for the citizens. Air quality index relate to health impact, and citizens can avoid unnecessary exposure to air pollutant. If you know all this air quality index, you can do lot many things. Then compliance that indicates compliance with the national air quality standard. AQI promotes local authority to take quick actions to improve air quality. This is very theoretical. Practically in India, it is not possible, or the government and the authorities are not willing to do anything with this air quality index improvement. This is all look good at the theoretical level. So AQI guides policymaker to take board decisions. Now we know how kind of board decisions are taken in our government. AQI encourage citizens to participate in air quality management. That we can do at our level. Okay, so this index from 0 to 500, uh, up to 50 it is a good level of health concerns. No, there is no need to be health concern if that air quality index is between 0 to 50. We'll see what kind of air quality index are there. So pollutants considered for AQI and air quality standards are all these pollutants. Average time hours and the pollutants, all these pollutants, the times they consider for the concentrations and Indian standards are these. To know the to fix the formula of that AQI. Okay, AQI categories and range. This already we have seen that in earlier slide. Quality 0 to 50 is a good, above 400 it is a severe air quality. AQI categories and breakpoint concentrations with averaging time. Okay, so here unit is UG per meter cube unless mentioned otherwise here. So you can see this good quality means particulate matter between the 10 hours it should be between 0 to 50, like this you can see the concentrations and everything, and on that basis they mathematically calculate the index here. So AQI and possible health impact. If it is a good, the minimal impact will on your health. So now if it is a severe AQI, that is above 400 level AQI is there, then respiratory effect even on healthy people and serious health impact on people with lungs and heart diseases.